Hi everyone, welcome back. In this episode today, we are here with one of my close friends, Brandon. Brandon is in his mechanical engineering program, and today we'll be discussing about his prior experience as a student at UNB studying Mech Eng. So on to you, Brandon.
Hi, Jay-Z. I guess just to the viewers, I guess my name is Brandon. I'm studying mechanical engineering. Actually, my final term, so that's good. Apart from mechanical engineering, I'm also doing a minor in electrical engineering, a minor in psychology, and a technology management entrepreneurship diploma, which is something that's kind of unique to UNB, a unique program to hear. So.
Well, that's pretty inspiring, though. I know Brandon is one of those students who have so much on their plate the whole time they have meetings. Like the schedule is pretty packed, and it's an honor to have you here on this episode, Brandon. Well, why don't you tell the people about your hometown Moncton?
Yeah, I guess. So, as Jay-Z just mentioned, I'm from Moncton, which is a city just about an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes away from Fredericton, where I call UNB home and everything like that. So, Moncton's actually for the longest time, it's been the fastest growing city in all of Canada. It is still, an Atlantic city, so it's not overly large. It's not nearly as big as Toronto or Vancouver or anything like that. But it's where I call home. It's a nice town, city, and everything like that. I had the pleasure of showing Jay-Z around
True.
during our winter break for a little bit. That was really nice. Very multicultural in Moncton, very big growing population from all around the world, people coming in and deciding to make Moncton their home. Very multicultural, a bunch of different ethnic cuisine all around.
Honestly,
really good restaurants.
I was pretty inspired by the food they have there. It's very delicious. I remember it was Taj Mahal restaurant where we went.
Yeah,
before,
Taj
and
Mahal.
It was pretty delicious food, honestly, and I love the vibe there in Moncton, the downtown itself. I think it's a little larger city compared to Fredericton in space, maybe.
Oh, definitely. It's a lot bigger than Fredericton. It's a lot more city feel too, like bigger city feel. Fredericton's a lot more community centric. It's a lot more low key kind
True.
of
It's good to know.
embrace.
Yeah, I think few more of my friends are from Moncton, and it's definitely one of the places I would visit if I'm here in New Brunswick. Anyways, let's talk about mechanical engineering. I think the point of this interview here is to explain and tell students about your experience as a Mech Eng student. I know you're in your final semester at the moment, so you had your fair share of good and bad days in mechanical engineering.
Oh, definitely.
Right? Yeah. So my question would be, what inspired you to pursue mechanical engineering?
Yeah, so I guess that goes back to high school, actually. I'll give you the whole spiel. So back in high school, I was your typical nerdy kid. I mean, a lot of us are. But I always envisioned myself finding one niche in science and following that, getting my PhD and going off being a professor or something crazy like that. Spending my days in a lab, being like frantic curly hair and everything.
I can envision you like that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So during high school, I took all the maths, all the physics, chemistry, biology, all the hard subjects, right in STEM. But I had a problem. I wanted to find like my little niche, but I would take physics, I'd fall in love with physics. I'd take chemistry, fall in love with chemistry. I'd take bio. A little bit less, fun to bio, but I was so good. I was so great at bio. I loved it. So I couldn't make up my mind. And here I was, 12th grade, my final year of high school, trying to apply to universities. I had no idea what engineering was. I started kind of discovering what it was, and that it was really everything that I loved about science being applied in real life. And that was really what I discovered that I actually wanted to focus on, the applied nature, the practical nature of science in the world, how to use underlying theories and apply it to create new things, innovate, actually impact people's lives, and that's kind of what drove me into engineering as a whole. And then I guess for mechanical specifically, I guess I've already dished it out. I'm doing a minor in electrical, on top of my degree in mechanical. So naturally, I kind of couldn't make up my mind for the longest time between mechanical, electrical, there's mechatronic engineering, countless other disciplines. Um, I had such a hard time kind of figuring out where I wanted to go. But the big thing was, is I'm very visually oriented. I think and piece together things in my mind. And I really enjoyed that aspect. So I really focused on not necessarily what a mechanical engineer does, what a electrical engineer does, you know? And I tried to focus on what I would actually be learning in my degree. What were the classes that I was taking? What are the concepts I'd be learning? Because once you graduate in engineering, you can realistically work in any field as an engineer. But what kind of underlying knowledge did I want to take from my schooling? So I looked at all the classes and I figured out mechanical was the place for me. I want to eventually go off into aerospace industry and everything like that, working on other aircraft or propulsion engines and stuff like that. So it kind of steered me directly into that facet with, you know, fluids and everything like that. So that's kind of where I found it, and that's where I kind of went along. And then my electrical engineering minor is just kind of accompanying that to further my interest in that field, mostly in electromagnetics and stuff.
Well, that's quite fascinating, honestly. You really articulated your thoughts in a very proper manner, and I'm very inspired by your prior journey. Like, I know you are an active part of the UNB Engineering Society. What's their full name, though?
Yeah, I guess the EUS, or the
Yeah.
Engineering Undergraduate Society.
Yes.
at UNB.
Why don't you tell us more about the society too, as compared to how it helped you pursue Mech Eng, or how it added value to your life? And then, I think you're the part of the council, right?
Yeah, I guess. I'm currently retired.
Oh, you're
I'll say that.
Running.
Fifth year. I kind of retired from that. Still very active in the community, but so I guess first year, I was trying to get my bearings at university, and that's very common. A lot of people, like, university's tough.
True.
As soon as you come here, very
You're
disorienting.
just bombarded with so many courses.
So much
Then you have
things going
some
on.
social responsibilities, and
Yeah, you're just trying to like figure out your day, man.
it's
And
like juggling with
um,
academics.
then there's like
Right.
this club, that club, this
Clubs.
club, that club, and they're like, "Yo, join on!" Like, I can't join 50 clubs.
You can. You can't.
I also have to study at some point. I have to eat. I have to sleep.
You have to sleep.
I have to sleep.
No,
That's a
not as
good
an engineer.
Eat, sleep, engineer.
Eat, sleep,
That's the
engineer.
motto. But second year kind of rolled around. I started to kind of like have my bearings and stuff like that. And one of the pivotal points in my degree was starting to get involved. So in engineering, we're kind of a really close-knit community, because the way UNB is laid out, we're a hill, but engineering and computer science are
Head
kinda
hall.
stuck at the bottom and head hall. We're a close-knit community ourselves. So we're kind of like all intermingling and everything, and we're really a close-knit family. I think mostly because we all struggle together. It really brings the spirits together. But no,
It's a beautiful way to put it, though.
shared struggle. Yeah. So I guess the Engineering Undergraduate Society was just kind of the outlook that I initially kind of latched onto. I've always been kind of inspired by student leaders and things like that, and I kind of wanted to take part in that. So second year I started going off, getting involved, volunteering a lot, helping out whenever possible. I actually got the opportunity to go to a bunch of conferences that the Engineering Undergraduate Society kind of like offered to students. So I got to, I went off to Calgary for a week.
That's cool.
At the Canadian Engineering Leadership Conference. That one's the best. A few other smaller conferences, and that kind of sealed the deal. I knew that's what I wanted to do for, outside of classes. So I wanted to be involved. And And then so third and fourth year, while the pandemic kind of happened, and a lot of things were really rocky for those 2 years. I was the VP external for the Engineering Undergraduate Society, so I kind of represented the entirety of the voice for engineering undergraduate students at UNB to the Atlantic region, and then across Canada.
It's amazing.
So that was really fun. That was probably I got to be the voice for engineering students. I got to plan a bunch of different events, and then just being a part of the EUS team was just so transformative. Really built me as a leader, and really kind of like put me out in the community. Got me super involved. I get to know kind of the inner workings of the university, which is kind of fun, and just the people that you meet while you're involved, the people that you work with, just like it's inspiring. Like you meet, like you think if you think like I'm doing a lot, like some of the people that I met, like I was inspired by them, and then you turn around and someone says that, man, like you're inspiring me to do things, and like the way that makes you feel, like oh my god, people see me as a leader, and that's just like that's so empowering.
It is. Well, first of all, I think you added a lot of value to the UNB's undergraduate mechanical eng society, because I've seen your work. I've seen you being involved in the society a lot, and matter of fact, there have been a couple of instances where I've seen people coming up to you in front of me saying that, hey, I remember you. You were the VP external, and they were the undergrads in their freshman year. So moving to that point, what would be your suggestion to freshmen or people who are about to pursue engineering in any university? Like, what would be your advice to them academically? Also, things outside the academics, as you were part of the AUS society. Sorry, how do you say it?
EUS.
EUS, sorry.
Engineering Undergraduate Society.
EUS.
Yeah.
So, what would be your advice? Should they be a part of it? How do you manage time to be a part of such a society outside your academics?
I'll try and break that down into digestible bits. But for starters, for anyone thinking about going into Eng, I mean, for starters, engineering is a lucrative career. Very highly competitive and everything like that. Very challenging degree. I know a lot of people that are going through engineering because it's a good career, pays well and everything like that. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Build yourself up for a good career. That's valid and important. Something that I've noticed though is the people that really shine in engineering are the people that know they want it, that are fascinated with what they're studying. And if there's one thing, it's follow what you're fascinated by, what tickles your brain, what you want to latch onto and really understand. So regardless of where you kind of go into engineering, a lot of things are standard, especially in Canada. Like if it's an accredited engineering program, it meets standards. So, but definitely focus on what you want to learn, as opposed to that cliche definition of what does this kind of engineering do. Like you can do anything you want after you graduate with your engineering degree, but not only does chemical engineers work in nuclear, not only mechanical engineers work on airplanes, not only electrical engineers are needed for the power grid. Like everybody has a hand in everything, and it's just more like, what do you want? What interests you, and where can you find yourself in the future? So that's just kind of in terms of like choosing what discipline you want to go into, whether or not you want to choose engineering and everything like that. But if your heart is set on engineering, first off, I applaud you. Definitely a hard path to take. And those first steps are going to be rocky. But honestly, go all out, but make sure to take care of yourself.
Very important.
It's a tough degree. There are going to be moments where, honestly, you're going to be put down. You're going to get back that quiz, that test, that exam that just did not go well. There's going to be those late nights finishing the project, the lab reports, the hundreds of assignments, and it's going to pile up. But make sure to realize that you're more than numbers on a piece of paper. You are more than, like, your dreams, why you are there studying is worth more than, completely wrecking yourself over studying for a little bit more on a test.
True. Well, that's
And
true.
things like that.
Yeah, I think I've seen a lot of my engineering friends stressing about their grades because it is indeed a challenging degree. Like, what I think is that you're not your grades, you are your experiences. Well, on the one hand, your degree and your GPA do matter. However, I think it's a healthy combination of your grades and the experiences you build here, the people you meet,
Exactly.
the critical thinking you develop at the end of your degree, and then a mixture of your good grades.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I guess to follow that, you kind of touched on wanting me to talk a little bit more about how I balanced everything.
Yeah, yes, sure, please.
So yeah, like I was very involved, especially last year, my fourth year. I was VP external for the Engineering Undergraduate Society. I was also the vice president services for the Atlantic Council of Engineering Students, which is kind of like the EUS but for the entire Atlantic region. So all four Atlantic Canadian provinces, so Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, Labrador, PEI, and New Brunswick. So all the engineering schools across those four provinces kind of have their own engineering undergraduate society, but that represents the whole region. So I was part of that council as well. So I was very involved at a bunch of different levels, doing a lot of stuff, and we were just kind of transitioning back to in person that year, and it was a lot. Honestly, did everything go well? Do I have some magic formula for time management? No, I'm still figuring it out. I'm always figuring it out. But it's about making a balance of what feels right to you, deciding what you like, setting boundaries for yourself in terms of I can't put this on my plate, and being very clear with your own limits. It's good to push your limits a little bit, explore who you are, but also making sure to respect yourself, and don't overdo it, don't overwhelm yourself, and just kind of like make sure to put yourself, your mental health, and your academics as a priority. I know there's been countless times when a lot of things just extracurricular have been like piling up and there's just lots to do, but then then I have those assignments, those tests coming up, and what do I focus on? So it's a little bit of a trade-off sometimes. Things get busy, but make sure to take care of yourself, make sure to get sleep, make sure to spend time seeing people, especially just throughout your engineering degree, whether you're involved or not. Make sure to spend time away from just your screens and spend time talking with amazing people like you.
I'm flattered.
Just hanging out, going off, goofing around, and just doing things like that, and just making sure that you're always consistently trying to achieve a balance. Like one thing for my university degree and going off, and through your entire career, there's no such thing as work-life balance.
True.
It, as in the fact where you achieve a certain thing and then you're at balance. I always like to think of it as work-life balancing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a constant changing thing. 1 week you could have everything sorted out, everything goes great. Next week, well, things are out of whack. I need to make sure that I have priorities in order. I have I can juggle what I can, but sometimes like you're gonna need extra help. Sometimes you're gonna need to reach out to a friend and things like that. So it's always a constant balancing act, as opposed to figuring things out and like I have a schedule now, so I'm great. It's like, well, life has other plans, but it's always a balancing act. And having good friends along the way is probably the key component to that.
I think it aids you a lot. Like if you have good friends by your side, I think it helps you a lot trying to struggle while you're struggling in university. If you have good friends, you can go through tough times easily. You need a constant support or an emotional support system along with you. Well,
Yeah.
I'm grateful that I have amazing friends like you. Like you people are always around whenever I need help with anything. I know I have people I can count on, which is very important because you are away from your family for a moment or for like 4 years if you're an international student. So I think you need to develop those emotional support systems around you and bring quality people or surround yourself with quality people who are adding value to your life at the moment and are emotionally there for you, which is important. Well, if your mental health is in balance, you'll be able to perform well in your degree. But if your mental health is not that good, I think it will eventually affect your grades.
Yeah, no, that is exactly it. You know, that's why I kind of emphasized it. Taking care of yourself. Because as much as working for Tesla would be cool, working for NASA would be nice. You're a human. You're not a robot. You need sleep. You need food. You need social time. I'm ridiculously introverted. I know when I need my alone time, but I also know when I need to, see a friendly face. I need to, talk with someone. Especially in engineering, especially being kind of a close knit, really tough degree. Just kind of something I've kind of figured out that helps me quite a lot. You develop quite a close knit community with your peers, and use that.
Well, you know what?
Like you cannot. Well, you can get through an entire engineering degree by yourself, but don't use your peers. Work on things together. Obviously, don't cheat off each other because that crosses the line there. But like help each other out, teach each other things you don't understand. Divvy up. Work, teach each other what they don't know. Have your back for your fellow student. Build that community around you, that support. And always surround yourself with people that are like-minded, that care for you and that you care for. It definitely is a little daunting, especially traveling halfway around the world.
Yes.
In a completely new place.
True, and
leaving your home for the first time.
Plus, UNB does not have a lot of international students, comparatively, I'd say. Fredericton. I say UNB has a lot of international students, but in Fredericton, we don't have a lot of international community as compared to Vancouver or Toronto, which makes people feel secluded for a moment. But now I think there has been an increasing influx of people from different parts of the world, which is good. But still, I think I've come across a lot of people who are from different backgrounds, and they find it hard to meet people from their community, which I think UNB is working on making societies. Like I know there's a Vietnam society where international students from Vietnam gather around and help each other, which is amazing. But I think I've never found anyone who's not helpful in New Brunswick or Fredericton. Everybody's calm, nice, peaceful. They have this smile on their face every single time you meet them. I think it's a Canadian thing more than a New Brunswick thing. But yes, I've been to different provinces, but this province stays as a vital part in my heart because of the people here. It's true. It's true.
I mean, I can't exactly speak on how nice we are. I don't know comparatively. I've kind of I'm too maritime. I've grown up here. I just know what I see is nice and what I don't see is nice. I don't really.
So you gotta believe me for that because I know.
I'll take your word for it. I've heard it's a common thing when people come here that we think we're nice. So.
Well, as a last question to you, for international students from different parts of the world who are basically applying to study engineering at UNB or even in any university in Maryland or maybe across Canada, what would be your advice to them?
Yeah, I mean, I guess same things I've kind of touched on before. Follow what you wanna study. I know it can be tough, especially if your parents are pressuring you to like go into engineering, go into sciences, go into business, go into this that because they see something like a set job for you at the end.
True.
But there's those pressures and stuff like that, and I don't know how to I can't really give advice on that. It's kind of too
True.
independent, but where you can follow what you find interesting. Surround yourself with people that like you can connect with. Don't be afraid to reach out to people to further connect, to branch out and meet people. Definitely, wherever you go, get involved. That's probably my degree and all my technical knowledge has been obviously why I'm here studying, but that hasn't been the defining parts of my degree. It's always been the way I've been involved, the way I've learned from others, the way I've evolved as a person. It's always kind of those extra things, being a part of clubs that I really enjoy, part of being part of the EUS, just being involved in leadership stuff, meeting people that I wouldn't have otherwise, just talking with people. That's another thing. Talk to your professors. They are people. They're not
Students are intimidated
Yeah.
from profs.
Especially in first year. I know it's very intimidating.
Yeah.
Obviously be respectful. They are they're
Obviously,
your
yeah.
professors and everything like that, but they are people, and honestly if you ask them about their research or what they're doing as part of their career, they will talk your ear off about it.
I second that, because this is the same advice I give to my students or my juniors. Talk to your prof. They're looking for students who are interested in their courses, and if you ask them about their prior experiences or the projects they have worked on, they'll explain every single detail about it.
Treasure trove of
Yes,
knowledge.
and like these profs have prior 50 years or 40 years of experience. They are like treasure box. Leverage that. Ask them questions. They're not gonna think that you're stupid or something. They are your profs. Like I think one reason people don't ask questions is that they think they might look stupid asking questions, but I don't think so. That's the whole scenario they have built.
A
in
lot
their
of
mind.
a lot of asking questions is showing you're interested.
True.
Or and honestly in engineering, if you ask a question, if you have that question, chances are half the class has that question.
Indeed.
Realistically, you're not the only person that's struggling, and that's something in engineering especially you learn real quick. But definitely reach out to profs, reach out to your peers, and engage. Also, I guess just if they're planning on coming to Canada, coming to Atlantic Canada, UNB, definitely just embrace the culture.
Maritime culture.
Maritime culture.
I like it.
Glad you do. Just embrace where you're going. University it's tough, it's challenging, but it definitely makes you grow as a person far more than
True.
you would ever
True.
think, in so many ways you would never imagine.
True.
The amount of maturity that you get out of things, the amount of knowledge that just comes out of your way from casual conversation turned to hour-long discussions, but definitely just be embraced by the community, and that's one thing that's particular to my camera died. That's one thing that's very particular to a university setting. You won't get that anywhere else, where there's so many people pushing themselves for the same kind of goals that you are. Especially in engineering, this is the only time that you will be surrounded by so many people passionate about engineering.
There's something
all
to
in the
leverage
same
on.
place.
True.
Same as in business, I'm sure. I mean, obviously in a business setting, there's a lot of people doing business work, but this is the one time in your life where you're surrounded by people all struggling on the same things, all passionate about the same things.
That's
all
a very
talking and
unique way to
learning
look
in
at
the
it.
same mind frame as
True.
you, and that is something that is so unique and so
It is.
valuable. So definitely don't take that for granted.
True.
Engage with the people around you, make those connections, and just enjoy your time. I mean, you can read your university degree away, or you can
Experience it.
experience it, and that's something that I've really embraced, and I think has been probably the most valuable part of it.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just gonna end our interview with one thing that I want to say. Like, when you are a university graduate or an undergraduate student, you don't have a lot to lose, I'd say, because you are in your teenagers. Let's assume around 18 to 23, 24. You can leverage a lot of risk there. You can launch things you want. You can work on an idea you want. I think a healthy combination of your academics and pursuing something you love, creating something that might benefit others, or creating something of your own. Because even if it fails, you don't have a lot to lose at the moment. That's what I encourage students to pursue when they are undergrad students. Anyways, it was an honor to have you in this episode, Brandon.
It's always an honor to have a conversation.
I
with
am
you,
grateful
JC.
for all the insights that you provided us with, and I'm hopeful that this helps future students or the current students who are in their first or second year. I see you as one of those students who have given back to this community a lot, as an RA, as a resident assistant, as a part of the undergraduate engineering society. I still see you helping your juniors here, and I hope people become more helpful toward our community like you are. I think we need people like you who give back more than they receive, and which is indeed something inspiring.
Thank you so much, JZ.
Thanks.